What's up, guys? If you are a remote sales pro and you want to crush 15K per month, which is going to set you on a pace to hit nearly $200,000 a year, if you would like to do that in your closing journey, in your sales journey, then this video is going to explain to you how to do that, because I've done that myself. I've given myself freedom, as I'm going to show you here. I'm going to give you all the sauce, and I want you to do the same thing as well. That's why I make these videos. So I'm going to give you my full framework, which includes my scripting and a guide, like a literal remote closing guide on how you can start smashing 15K per month in your sales journey and go beyond that, because I know a lot of dudes who are making way more money than that. In this training, what you're going to get is my closing process. So I'm going to give you the whole process that I use to hit months of 15K plus as a remote sales pro. And I use this script on multiple different offers. I've trained people on how to use this script. I've helped businesses make way more money using this script. And I'm going to give you the script that's going to help you. Of course, it's not like just a script, if that makes sense. You don't need to just use a script and you're going to make money. You have to be able to be good at sales. You have to be able to close deals. So if you are absolute shit at sales, the script is not going to save you, right? The script is not making you better at sales, but this script is going to make you a lot of money because it taps into the fundamental psychology of why people buy things, which I will explain. And then I'm going to give you the rapid framework that I use to get good in sales faster than 90% of other sales pros. So if you can use the framework I'm going to break down for you here, specifically for objection handling and for mastering your sales journey, you will get good in sales faster than 90% of other sales pros. Because what I see is a lot of salespeople coming into these programs, I know because I was one of them, and they get stuck. There's not really like a path laid out for how you can get good as quickly as possible, but I want you to get good fast. So I'm going to teach you something called a rapid framework that's going to help you get good in sales faster than 90% of other sales pros. And then I'm going to give you some insider information on finding even better hiring opportunities and offers, which is going to change the game for you. So this is me. This has been my journey. 18K commissioned month in February. March of this year, 14K commissions month. I regularly was smashing 10K months, 12K months as a closer. You can see I was closing PIFs paid in full, 7.5K, 15K, 9K PIFs. This is from one of the offers I was on, dating offer, the team Slack. I was just like smashing it. And I wasn't always this way, of course. I was fucking broke. In fact, as of the day of me shooting this video, today is the day where I had $112 in my bank account. Like today, 1 year ago, September 13th or September 12th, I think is when I'm shooting this. No, it's September 13th. September 13th, 2023, in my business account, I had $100. And in my personal account, I think had like $500 left after rent or something. I had hit rock bottom. It was truly terrible. But now I've got a whole bunch of freedom. I, keep my life simple. I'm not doing all kinds of crazy stuff. That's going to be next year. Right now I'm stacking cash and building a business. But, I go out to some fancy luxury places and eat all the time with my boys. Take cool cars out for a spin, rent cars for like, cool trips and stuff over a couple weeks. That's fun. There's me and my boy in the back of a BMW 440 was it that I rented, like a Grand Coupe, whatever they call it. That was fun, really fun time. There's me on the rooftop of a hotel I was at in Barcelona, like rented that out for a week, a luxury 5-star hotel, worked there. So, I'm spending money on shit. I have shit going on in my life and I can do it. The fun thing was I was able to buy a bunch of stuff for my sister's wedding. I spent on the cake. I spent on a bunch of wedding accessories and planning things that they needed, like thousands of dollars, which was really awesome. Being able to do that and give back to my mom and my family, like that was great. For my sister's wedding, which is coming up. So that was really freaking awesome and meant a lot to me. It was like a representation of kind of this journey that I'm on and some of the success I've had being able to give back to them. So that was pretty fucking cool. All right, let's talk sales. So the Holy Grail. What I do when I sell based on an idea called the Holy Grail, okay? I see a lot of sales professionals and a lot of sales training programs out there. I want to tell you guys something very interesting. I see a lot of sales programs out there, a lot of sales coaches, sales trainers who have different kinds of methodologies that they sell from. The one that I'm going to train you on, that I train to my clients and that I use when I'm consulting with businesses, is called the Holy Grail sales method. And it's based on selling a prospect on a desired future, not looking at things that have happened in the past. Here's the reason why the Holy Grail works so well. It's a very interesting idea, and I think you'll learn a lot from this, especially if you're in sales or if you desire to get good at sales and you love this game. This will help you a lot. So Here's the thing about the Holy Grail. A lot of sales pros or, sales businesses will teach you to sell based on figuring out what has happened before, where the prospect's previous problems were and their weaknesses, their fears, etc., and then build a game plan or pitch based on that. When I sell, the only thing I want to do is have information that is going to help me close as quickly as possible. That's it. That's all I want to do when I sell. I just want information that's going to help me figure out where is this person at currently versus where they want to be, and how do I analyze and assess the gap from where they are now versus where they want to be, and create a path, a plan, a roadmap, which is our service, by the way. Create a path for them to get to where they are now versus where they want to be. Now, this only happens when you sell based on where they want to be. And what do we call the where they want to be? We call it the Holy Grail. That's what we call it. The Holy Grail. Where do they want to be? Who do they want to be? What would they like to become? What does their life look like when they move past their current state? So all the questions that I ask my prospects, which I'm going to break down for you in a second, I'm going to give you the entire script here, you can see. All the questions I ask my prospects are based on their current state, moving towards where they want to be. So I'm not looking at the past. I'm not looking at all the things that they've done. That is largely irrelevant information until it actually becomes important, right? So asking someone, I've seen this a lot with fitness. They'll say, what other fitness programs have you done? I don't really care what other fitness programs my prospects have done. I care if I need to care. So if they say, I've been trying this so long and I've tried 10 different fitness programs, then I'm going to be like, oh, tell me more about what you've done. Right. But if I don't need to force a conversation around their past, I'm not going to. And I see a lot of sales pros make this mistake. The guys I train, and I've gotten my guys very good. I've got guys smashing 10K months consistently. We got dudes closing, just closed four $12,000 paid in fulls within a week. That's crazy. This man made 5K in commissions in a week, which puts him on a 20K pace for the month. I don't think he ended August on 20 because the volume was low, but that's pretty fucking crazy doing that. So here's the idea about the Holy Grail. What I see a lot of sales pros do is they start diving into extra questions around feeling or tell me more about that, when you don't actually need to do it, and it's largely irrelevant for the prospect making a buying decision. Because all I want to do is ask questions and gain information that is going to get my prospect to purchase. And the reason I want to ask these questions, had a little bit of a hiccup with Zoom there, so if things just went weird with my audio, not Zoom, Vimeo I'm recording this on, but if things went weird, that's why. But the reason why I want to ask these questions is only to get my prospect to purchase, right? So I want to make sure that every question I ask in my discovery is accomplishing something. So I'm not asking my questions for no reason. I know that there's a checklist of answers I want to get. We do this exercise in my training program where we'll do a reverse call, where instead of you asking the questions as a prospect, you'll think and sit with what answers do I want to get. So the first answer would be, you want to get some kind of number, right? Let's say it's weight loss. You want to get the answer, I want to lose 25 pounds. That's the first answer. And then what do we want? What have you been doing to try to make that happen? We want a response. I've tried some dieting. What's the next answer we want? It's a struggle because of this and that and this and that. We want a current struggle. What's the next answer that we want? Time. It's been about 2 years of me trying this, right? So the reason why I'm doing this in a sales call, asking these questions and following this Holy Grail, is because I know the answers that I want to get. So I'm only going to ask questions that are geared towards me getting answers that are going to allow me to sell within this Holy Grail, meaning who they want to be. So with the Holy Grail, there's going to be three. There's going to be time, money, location. 3 versions of the Holy Grail. So either going to be time, as in the person would like to buy back time. Imagine you talk to some business dude who is running his business at 20K per month. He's cool with 20K, but he wants to scale to 30, 40K, but without putting in way more work. So he's trying to outsource delivery, outsource onboarding, outsource things so that he can buy back more of his time and actually enjoy his life because he's been slaving away. Or imagine someone who's working at a 9 to 5, someone who's a travel nurse. I'm giving you a real archetype. They're a travel nurse and they want to instead get into sales. We deal with people like this. They want to get into sales. They're making 10, 15K as a travel nurse, doing very, very well, but they want to get into sales because they're working 12, 13-hour shifts and it's crazy on their body, crazy on their feet. So they want to actually stop doing that and they want to buy back time. right? That's an example. We get people like this on our program, people who come from corporate, people who come from their 9-to-5s, and they want to get out of that, enjoy life, go on more vacations, spend time with their partner, be able to eventually spend time with their kids and enjoy life, right? So that's an example of time. Money is another one. I just need to earn more. There's a cap on my earning and I need to make more money. Someone is doing 4K at their 9-to-5 job and they're like, in order for me to actually provide a better life for myself, I need to boost how much I make to like 10, 15K, right? There we go. There's money. And then you have location. Location being where the person is and being able to have the freedom of working wherever they want. There's a guy in our program, Sati, who closes on a yoga offer. They teach yoga professionals how to take their yoga business online or how to leave their 9-to-5 and create a yoga business online. A lot of them want location freedom. I want to be able to move to a different city, to a different country, really enjoy a life in this new location, in this new place, right? That's location. Time, money, location, all paths lead to freedom. So the Holy Grail ultimately always is going to be freedom, and it's going to manifest through time, through money, through location. What we want is to identify which version of the Holy Grail is attached to this freedom. So freedom ultimately is the goal, of course, but is it that you need time freedom, you need money freedom, or location freedom? We need to understand that. And the reason we do this, or the reason we're going through this, is we're creating a buying conversation guided by this progression, right? So I'm not just having an innocent little conversation, just shooting the shit. I actually want to create a buying conversation that's guided by this very specific progression. So the whole call that I'm having is geared towards moving the prospect towards buying. Discovery isn't discovery for the sake of it. I'm not going on this like fantasy journey of trying to discover things. I'm actually going down this path because I want the prospect to give me information that's going to lead to them making a buying decision. So I'll go through the scripting with you of the Holy Grail, and I'm telling you, this has changed my entire life. Like, this scripting literally has taken me from having $100 in my account and like in a bad position in life, really, where I didn't know what was next, to being in a position where I was making 10, 15 plus K months and able to go travel the world. And I was traveling before when I ran a business, but then everything failed. Then I had to do it all again through sales, allowing me to go do what I want and, give back to people, pay for like my sister's freaking wedding. Like, how crazy is that I'm able to live this way and live this life? And it's because I learned the actual strategies to close well and I perform at a high level. So I'm giving you the same thing here. So the Holy Grail scripting is this. You're trying to find their current state in Holy Grail. You're trying to find their current state. Like, where are you at now? What is the problem with where you are at now? And then where do you want to be? We can only sell on a problem, which I'm going to explain in a second. You can only sell people on a problem. You can't sell if everything's working well. Like, I see a lot of sales pros, we just trained on this in our free group. We did a session and this one guy was role playing and he was like kind of having a shoot the shit conversation with one of the prospects. And I'm like, dude, if you're having a conversation where everything's just all good and just casual, oh, we're not real serious, there's no problems to really solve, you're going to get smacked around and destroyed on your calls. There has to be an actual problem to solve. So let's look at this. How do we create a problem? In the current state, we're trying to find out again in Holy Grail, the current state is where they're at now versus where they want to be. So the first question we always ask, let's say we're using an ecomm offer, okay? Someone wants to build an ecomm business, build it to like 10K a month. What are you looking for specifically when it comes to building out your ecomm business? Like, where do you want to be? What we need is ultimately a number that is a representation of the Holy Grail. Because the Holy Grail can still be time, it can be money, it can be location, but that number is going to represent one of those things. So let's say that the person you're talking to is already making 10K with their 9-to-5, but they want to make 10K with ecomm. What's the thing there? The Holy Grail is not actually money. The Holy Grail is going to be location or time freedom. Either they hate their 9-to-5 job because it's taking all their time, or they want location freedom to be able to go live in Bali or live in Dubai, wherever the fuck they want, even though you can't live in Dubai for 10K a month. But let's say they want to live in Bali or they want to move to Mexico City, Colombia, I don't know, and they can't do that because they don't have location freedom, right? Or let's pretend that the person is making 3-4K right now and they work as an electrician. Electricians make good money though. So let's say they're doing 5-6K as an electrician and they want to do like 15K with their ecom business, right? There we go. There's money. They feel like they have a cap on what they can earn and what they can bring in personally. So they say, I need to earn more money so that I can have more freedom. There could be location tied to that, but one of these is always going to be the primary. I forgot I have a pen here so I can write, right? So one of these things here, like it could be money or it could be location. So there's going to be like a 1 and then there's going to be a 2. maybe money will be number one for this person. Maybe time would then be number three, right? And they don't really care about time. So time doesn't even really matter for this person because he's willing to put in a bunch of work. He's willing to go for it. He doesn't really care. So the Holy Grail ultimately is going to be figuring out, one, what they're looking for and identifying that. And then we need to get a number and attach that number to the Holy Grail. So it would be, what are you looking for specifically when it comes to building out your e-com business? Like, where do you want to be? They respond. Let's say they don't give you a number. They're like, well, I just want to grow it. I want to accelerate that journey and I want to, get to success faster. Okay, very cool. Awesome. And for you, like, what number represents success in your e-com business? Like, how much do you want to be making? I need a number. Okay. After we get a number, the second question here is, what have you been doing to try to hit 10K a month online? And I'll explain why. We need this question to have a lot of impact, because what we don't want is to sell on a very weak footing. Like, imagine that. So your Holy Grail is the base. Let me see if I can draw this out. So Holy Grail right here, imagine if your sales call is a pyramid. Okay. Your Holy Grail here is basically the base of the entire sales call. So if this in here, if your Holy Grail process here is not good, the rest of your sales call is going to be super weak because you're going to be selling off of a very weak base. So when you pitch, which would be the next place in the pyramid, your pitching isn't going to be strong because your Holy Grail was weak. And then if you get objections, right, your objections are also not going to be strong. You're not going to be able to have a lot of fuel to handle objections. Why? Because your Holy Grail was weak. So what we need is a bottom-up approach where each section of the pyramid in your sales call is getting stronger and stronger, right? So at the bottom, the Holy Grail needs to be super strong. It can't be weak. You have to have a very strong Holy Grail. So that's why I ask these questions, to make it as strong as possible. So when I ask this question, going back to the point here, what have you been doing to try to hit 10K per month online? What I'm trying to do is get a problem. Whatever they say they've been doing, I'm going to be like, it hasn't been working well for you. It hasn't been working well and it's been sucking, right? Whatever they say. So if they say, I'm trying to build an e-com business, and where do you want to be? I want to make 10K a month. Okay. And what have you been doing to try to hit 10K per month online? You also could ask this as like, what have you been doing to try to build the business out? Tell me what you've been doing in e-com to try to build it to 10K per month. Okay. This question needs to have the highest impact possible. So generally what we want to do, the reason I did this first, the first way, is I want to go beyond just e-com business and I want to make it focused on a bigger goal. So I don't want it to just be like, what have you been doing to try to build the e-com business? I want it to be like, what have you been doing to try to make the money? Because at the end of the day, the e-com business is just a bridge to that end outcome, right? Like, again, to be clear, when you're selling, some of you probably don't know this because no one teaches this in the sales space. I'm the only person that teaches this. I've genuinely never seen anyone teach this. The people I learned this from are copywriters, because copywriters know this shit. But sales pros, for some reason, never teach this. I haven't seen it, at least. Maybe they have, but I don't know anyone who teaches this, and I've been in a lot of damn programs. So our offer does not matter. Remember this. The offer doesn't actually matter. No one cares. Like, your offer, we do e-com coaching, or I do sales coaching, or like I'm going to teach you drop shipping or crypto bullshit. It doesn't matter. What they want at the end of the day is this. They want freedom. Freedom is what matters. The pathway to get there, so this is their current state. They're starting here and they want to get here, right? The only thing that matters is this. It's getting to this point right here, this end state. That's the only thing that matters. What is in between, like all of this shit here, which is what your company is going to do, doesn't actually matter. The only thing that matters is how they're going to go from point 1 to point 2. And in between, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 doesn't matter. They don't care. If you told them you go fly to the moon and you're going to have 10K per month in your bank account because you did that, they'll do it. Now, that's very unrealistic because everyone knows you can't get that by going to the moon. So what you guys offer to an extent does matter. It has to be a fit for them, yes. But what I want is to have a conversation around their Holy Grail, not a conversation around our little method to get you there, okay? And a lot of sales pros mess this up. So here's the thing. It would be, this question needs to have the biggest impact possible. So generally going beyond just the e-com business itself, but focusing on the bigger goal is going to help you way more. So I'll ask this question, like, what have you been doing to try to hit 10K per month online? Or let's say it's fitness and they've said, yeah, I want to lose 20 pounds this summer. Okay, very cool. What have you been doing to try to lose weight? I'm not going to say, what have you been doing like in the gym or how have your workouts been going? I don't want to know that. I want to know what is the thing that they are currently trying that isn't working, because if I know what they're trying, I can sell against it, right? So if I know the thing they're doing right now isn't working and they're hitting their head against a wall, I can provide them an alternative solution that's going to supersede whatever they're doing now. So the next question would be, so what do you feel is the biggest thing holding you back from like hitting 10K per month then, right? And it would be the question, again, having the highest impact possible. So going beyond the ecomm business, but focusing on the bigger goal. It's the same thing again. So I don't want to just focus on like, what do you feel is the big thing that's not working in your ecomm business right now? Because that's going to make the problem way too small. I need to sell on a big problem. There has to be an issue. So the issue I want to sell on is not related to the little ecomm business, but it's to just what's not working as a whole. Here's what I'd say, and this is a bit complex for YouTube or for X, wherever you watch this on. If you have a buyer who's more sophisticated and they're coming in for specific knowledge means they're coming in, let's say you have someone who's already running an ecom business and it's at 10K and they want to scale it to 20K. I'm probably not going to use the same scripting here because the problem they want to solve is the biggest value to them would actually be a hyper specialized problem. Like our business, as an example, we hired an ads agency on a 5K retainer and I'm paying $5,000 consistently for this ads agency to manage and run our ads. Now, when they had a call with me, the way that they would do the call, it wouldn't make sense for them to do a call with me and be like, so can I ask, like, what's the biggest thing holding you back from hitting 50K in your business? Because right now we're at 20, we're trying to scale to 50, then 100. So them to ask me, what's the biggest thing holding you back from hitting 50 wouldn't make sense because I'm coming on the call for specialized knowledge. It's not like I'm being held back by something that's like emotional or has weight or it's a part of my life. It's just I'm not getting to where I want to be simply because I need specialized knowledge to outsource this, right? So in B2B context, I'm not going to ask questions this exact way. I would frame it as, what do you feel is the biggest thing right now holding the business back from scaling when it comes to ads? Specific. But in B2C formats, which many of you are closing B2C, that's the most popular thing in the industry right now, B2C, you want to be general. I want it to be broad. So I want it to go beyond the e-com business. I want it to be on the bigger goal. Okay, after we get this question, now we're going to go into time. Time is another way to create a gap. So time is amazing because when I say create a gap, again, I mean, going back to this, their current state versus where they want to be. That's what I mean when I say time and creating a gap. So I want to associate a timeline to how long they've been in this problem, okay? So I'm going to ask them, how long have you wanted to like be at 10K per month or have freedom? How long has that been a thing for you? Or you could say, how long have things been this way? Like, how long have you had this struggle? So if they tell me the thing holding me back, man, is just there's so much information out there and I'm not sure where to start. Yeah, 100%. How long have you been in a position where you've like wanted to make 10K and haven't like hit that number? How long has this been going on for? Because what I want to do is I want to tie this question to the biggest possible struggle or the biggest possible timeline. So if they had told me that I've been trying ecom for the last 3 years, and they said earlier, I've been trying and running my store for a while and it hasn't been working, I'm not going to say, how long have you wanted to make 10K? I'm going to say, dude, how long has the store been running again? I think you said 3 years, right? What were you doing before that? I'm going to stack on more time. So now the time gap, the time that is literally a physical representation of their struggle is going to be amazing. It's going to be huge. It's going to be perfect because they're going to say 3, 4, 5 years. Someone who wants to lose weight, how long has it been since you've wanted to knock off the weight and get to the body you really want to have and the confidence you want to have? How long has that been a thing for you? 4 years, 5 years, golden. Now I have a time representation of the current gap, right? It's a time representation of the current state of their current problem, okay? And then the question we use to tie it all up and move into the next phase is, do you feel like with what you're currently doing to hit 10K per month that you're going to see the results you want, like, I guess, and scale this business, build this business as quickly as you would want to? Or do you feel like you're going to need to make some small changes? Or how do you feel? That's the next piece of questioning I'm going to ask. And this piece of questioning is really valuable because it gets commitment from the prospect. Remember this, there are 3 tools you have that you can use to create a gap. This is some sauce I'm giving you here. I only teach this in my protocols program, and I'm going to give it on YouTube, give it on Twitter, okay? Here's the 3 tools you have. Number 1 is time. Time is the first tool. I'm not going to write the whole thing out because I'm on a desktop and it's going to be weird to write it. But time is number 1. Time is one of the best ways to create a gap. Creating a gap, again, means the prospect has to visualize and understand and feel and accept, shit, I'm not in a great place. I've been stuck in this position for a while. Something needs to change, okay? That's number 1, time. The second way to create a gap is going to be emotion. So emotion is like feeling. Like the situation that I'm in really sucks right now and I want to make change. Okay, that's the third one, emotion. Like what you could ask as an example is after they say, what's the biggest thing holding you back? And you say, and they say, there's just so much information out there. I'm not sure where to start to create emotion. And say, yeah, I can't imagine that's easy, man. Like dealing with all the fucking flood of information. That can't be easy, right? Yeah, no, it's definitely not. They'll add. They add on stuff. Okay. And then we go time. How long has it been this way? And the last one is commitment. Commitment is an amazing creator of a gap because it's the prospect admitting I want to change something. Where I'm at now and what I'm doing right now is not good. It's not enough. I would like to change something. So then that's the last one, commitment, right? So now here's, and by the way, this question, I forgot to say, this question here is an example of the commitment. This question gets commitment. Do you feel like you're going to see results as quickly as you want to, or do you feel like you're going to need to make some small changes? That's a commitment question. They say, yes, I need to make changes. That is the prospect admitting my state is not good and I'm willing and wanting to make change. Now, remember this. People make buying decisions. Your whole sales call is going to be based on this. People make buying decisions driven by emotion and backed by logic. Remember that. People make buying decisions driven by emotion and backed by logic. Here's how it works. The logic needs to make sense, and then you drive the sale forward with emotional commitment, okay? So in sales, you have two tools that you can use to drive sales forward, and both of them have to be working correctly. Logic and emotion. If I told you, let's say you wanted to come to me and do sales training, and I told you, listen, I'm going to send you in the mail a magic pill, a red pill. We won't go red pill, a white pill. And I'm going to give you this pill and you swallow it and your sales skills are going to go from being a 15% closer to being a 30% closer, being at 4K a month in commissions to being at 15K a month in commissions. You swallow the white pill. What will you think? If I told you that, you'll be like, that doesn't make sense. That's nonsense. The reason is because the logic doesn't make sense. The logic has to make sense in order for someone to buy. So the logic of how you get to that point and how they're going to get results has to make sense. So when you pitch, which I'll explain in a second, the logic of how they're going to get there has to make sense. But they're driven forward with emotional commitment, right? So if I told you, I said, we have this process, that process, this process, and we're going to do these 3 calls for you. We're going to do role plays. We're going to do I'm going to look at your calls. We're going to work on your pitching. We're going to go through objections for hours every week, which is basically what we do in the most intense way possible. You'd be like, that sounds really, really good. But if you're not emotionally bought into making change, if you haven't committed within your heart and your soul, I would like to be this person who exists at a different sales skill set and thus exists at a different income bracket and makes way more money. Like when we're talking, this type shit or more, if you want to be that kind of person, if you aren't committed to being that kind of person, you're not going to buy. What you're going to tell me is you're going to say, okay, I'll think about it. I'll get back to you. I'll let you know. We'll see. Because you're not emotionally committed and it hasn't been driven forward with emotion. So sales are backed by logic. The logic has to all make sense and it's driven forward by emotion. Remember this because it's very important to what we're going to do next. So I'm going to give you my entire framework, okay? This, my friend, is the framework that I used to close millions of dollars in sales. This is the framework that I used. I calculated the income that I've made this year. I am closing in on making $200,000 as of this year. I'm on a track to make $250,000 this year. That's insane. It's never happened to me in my life. This is the first year where I've made this much money. And it has been because of sales, fueling that, giving me a nice cash base, tens of thousands of dollars coming into my account because of my sales skill set, because of this process. And then because of me running my business. And our business is done very well because I'm training sales professionals on how to make more money. And my guys frankly crush it because I'm damn good at what I do and because I teach them this shit and we're learning this 5 days a week, right? So, and they get one-on-one with me. So that's the reason why I made a bunch of money because I'm one of the best, or if not the best, at what I do. That's a fact. Okay, so here's the process that you're going to go through for sales. This is going to make you a bunch of money. I'm going to give you exactly what to use, how we do it. This is the entire sales process. You have 3 phases. Discovery, which is number 1. I'm not even going to try to write a 1, or I am, I guess. Okay. Discovery is number 1. Pitching is phase number 2. And then you have commitment, which is number 3. And they all go in this order. This goes in this order. So discovery is number 1. Holy grail current state, which we just went through here. This is how you start it. So can I ask, what are you looking for specifically when it comes to losing weight? Like, where do you want to be at? They say, I want to lose 15 pounds. If they don't give you a number, you need to get a number, because we're going to base the rest of the call on the number. 15 pounds. Okay. And what are some of the things you've been doing, like, currently to try to lose the 15, 20 pounds? Like, what have you been doing? They say a little bit of a diet, a little bit of gym, all this. Interesting. I see. And what's the biggest struggle then? What's the thing holding you back from getting there as quickly as you'd want to be there? They say the struggle, like lacking consistency, this and that. That can't be easy. I'm sure it's very frustrating dealing with the lack of consistency. What do you feel causes that? Maybe I'd go deeper for a second. What do you feel is causing the consistency? The answer, I had a divorce where I was going through mental health issues. Now I've recovered that and I'm ready to take my life back into my hands. Awesome. Beautiful. I'm really happy to hear that. How long has this been a thing for you where you haven't been at the weight you've wanted and you wanted to, like, lose the weight? How long has this been going on for? Let's say they give me a crappy answer. Well, it's only been 6 months since my divorce. So, not just how long you've wanted to lose it even, but, like, how long have you not been at the weight where you're really, truly happy with and truly look in the mirror and love yourself? They give me a bigger answer. Oh, it's been 4 years ever since I finished, my first marriage. Okay, 4 years, I see. Yeah, it's been some time. Do you feel then that with what you're doing, which seems to me there's a lot of inconsistency and not a lot of even any accountability in place, do you feel like you're going to see the results in your fitness journey and your health as quickly as you'd want to, and do it properly, do it quickly? Or do you feel like there's some small changes you're going to need to make? You definitely have to change some things. Okay. And why do you want to make the changes now as opposed to putting them off till later, the way unsuccessful people would do? There we go. We've done Holy Grail, current state. Then we're going to go into desire. Desire is the next phase. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up and we're going to put on the table the prospect's future. There's a couple theories in sales about desire or like future pacing. I tend to think of it differently than a lot of people. Some sales coaches are like, you need to have them visualize deeply their future desires. I tend to give people more credit than that. I don't think people are so stupid. Some of them are, but most people that I've talked to, at least on sales calls, we're not sitting there and we're not like visualizing and doing some breathwork meditation, meditating on their future. It's not happening on sales calls. Some sales pros say it is. Some people are trying to make people cry on sales calls and stuff. I don't care. I think I can count on one hand the amount of times someone's cried on a sales call with me. It's happened, but it's been super rare. It's not a thing. The reason I want to talk about their future and I want to actually paint a picture of their future is because I want it to be a relevant part of the conversation and I want it to be on the table so that they know that the decision that they're about to make on this call is tied to a better future. That's all. That's the only reason why. It's not something like I'm tricking them. It's not something like they have to get deeply emotional and be crying and stuff. It's not that. It's just I want to bring it onto the table. I want it to be like, hey, when you invest in this and push go and submit an invoice and pay the money, just the future you want to have, this is what it's going to look like. Because you told me about it. You mentioned it to me earlier, and we had a conversation around it. It's a real thing that you really believe in. You can really see, and I believe in it too. So we're going to get you there. That's what we're here for. All right? That's what I want to do in desire, future pace. So the way I asked the question for desire to get into the next phase, which we're at right now, if you're sticking with me, we're right here. Here's what it sounds like. So can I ask, when we like put you in that position where you are at a weight that you love, where you have the confidence you want, what does that do for you, like personally, having lost that weight? And I mean beyond just the numbers on the scale, because they're just numbers, of course, at the end of the day. Like, what does being at that new weight do for you as a person? Tell me more about that. Okay, so I'm going to get desire, and I'm going to future pace them. I'm going to look at what comes next in your future, and what would that mean to you? What would the state that you would be in that place in your life? What does that feel like? What does that look like? And I want to get a feeling and I want to get a description. Those two things I need. I want a feeling, like what would it feel like being in that position? And I also want to look, like what does it look like being in that position in your day-to-day life? You could also ask, like, how would that change things from where they are now for you? That's another thing you could ask. And then we have fear. That's the next part of this. Fear is the other side. Fear meaning what we don't want to happen, what we're trying to avoid, what we would not like to happen in our dating life. So, excuse me, I'm used to dating offers. Not our dating lives, our fitness lives. What we don't want to happen in our fitness lives. Like, what's the opposite of this? So fear would be like, I'm just curious then, because that's the top of the mountain for you. Like, that's the top of success. That's everything. You know, you feeling confident in your body, you being able to give back to people around you, you like wanting to wear the clothes you want to wear, living that, which I believe we can make that happen for you. The other side to it, of course, looks like you don't make changes and you stay dealing with the same limits you've been having. So can I ask, if you stay in the same position and don't make the changes, not that we want that to happen, but what does that look like going forward if you stay in this position now? What happens then? Okay, and then we get cost of inaction. Like, what happens if you stay in the exact same place? What happens if you stay here? What happens if you never make changes? That's not good. We don't want that to happen, okay? And then what we go through, after we tie this up, okay, and I could write in something here because there's one other question. Are they going to let me write here? I think they will. Yeah, so the other question would be, do you feel like you're ready to draw a line in the sand? There's more to the question, but I'm going to write the very fast version of it right now. So between this question of fear and going into fear, you want to end it with a line in the sand, which is a commitment. So the way it would sound is like, I'll frame it to you, and I'll say it out here. So after you finish discovery, you tie it up with a final commitment. Yes, I'm ready to make changes. So that's amazing. That's everything. I'm happy. I think there's alignment. We don't want that to happen. Of course, we want to have a better future. So can I ask you this? Do you feel then like you're ready to make a commitment to yourself now to draw a line in the sand and start to make changes to how you do things so that you can be at the weight, be at the health, be at the confidence that you truly want to have? Yes or no? So you get a commitment. They're going to say, yes, I want to. Yes, I absolutely want to. Now we pitch. That's the next place. We pitch. Now, no one teaches pitching correctly. I haven't seen anyone. There's one person. But there's a way you can pitch that's so good. There's a way you can pitch that's going to make you so much money. Even if your discovery is not perfect, even if you're not the best at handling objections, if you can pitch the way that I'm going to show you right here, you're going to make hella money, bro. Like hella money, okay? Here's the pitching structure we use. We use a structure called benefits-based pitching, and all the guys in QL Pro know this. All my clients, y'all know how to pitch now because we spend time on this. You guys know how to pitch. So we have something called the benefits pitching structure. A benefits pitching structure means that when you pitch, you really don't focus at all on what the company does, how we do it, what our little strategies are. You don't start with that, I should say. What our little strategies are, what our commitment to you is, how many sessions you're getting, because none of it fucking matters. That does not matter to the prospect. The prospect does not care about what your company does. And I want you to remember this and understand this because no one understands this until they work with me and actually train this with me. But I'm giving it to you here. You need to understand this, bro. The prospect does not give a hoot. They don't give a flying batshit fuck what the company that you work for does. They don't care. All they care about is, can you get me to this result? Can you get me to this end result? And do I believe that what you are going to take me through, the process you're going to take me to, will actually get me there? That's it. So the only thing that matters is, one, do I see the vision for getting to the result with you guys? Like, do you understand where I need to be? Do you understand it? Do you conceptualize that? Right? Does the prospect see it? And then you as a sales pro, can you deliver that? Can they understand it? Like, yes, I see where I want to be and I can visualize it here with you. It makes sense. I can see it. It's realistic. And then number two, which is mechanisms. Mechanisms would be, do you guys have the tools that back what you just told me I'm going to get in the benefits? So the mechanisms actually is in service of benefits, right? The benefits are not working for the mechanisms. The mechanisms are backing the benefits. And then the deliverables to add to this, where's my marker? Yep. The deliverables are also backing the benefits, right? It all comes back down to the benefits. All of it. This is how you pitch. And this is how you're going to make a bunch of money in sales. If you can pitch well, pitching is even more important than objections, because if you can pitch well, you're going to have less objections. First is your discovery, because going through Holy Grail, this is the most important part of your call initially. Because if you have a shit Holy Grail, the prospect's not going to be aligned with their own problem and realize their own problem. You still can close if you have a shit Holy Grail and have an amazing pitch, but you'll only close prospects that are in a really, really bad place. And that's not all prospects. Some people just kind of want help. So if you just rely on pitching only and your Holy Grail sucks, you're not going to make a lot of money, right? But if you can pitch and you're not amazing at objections, which might happen somewhere in here, Yeah, there we go. If you're not amazing at objections, but you can pitch, you'll still make money. But you're going to make less money because you're still going to get some objections. If you can handle objections, then you'll make a bunch of money. So here's how it works. Top is the benefits. Here's how I pitch this person for the fitness offer. Okay, so here's the two things that we're going to do for you, Jenny, like where we want you to be at. Number one is confidence. It's actually not about those numbers on the scale like I told you before. We talked about this. It's not about the numbers on the scale. Like the numbers, you're going to lose the 20 pounds. That's not a question in my head. But it's actually about who you become while losing that weight. Right? It's about the confidence in you understanding I am this woman who deserves to have a better future. And I would add to that, I would say an X and Y and Z so that you can spend more time with your kids, so that you can love yourself in the mirror. That's number one. That's benefit number one. Notice I didn't talk about what we do. I didn't talk about how we're going to get you there. I didn't talk about our process. I didn't talk about our step-by-step blueprint. None of that. I didn't say how many sessions. 0. Because none of it matters. All that matters is the benefit and who she's going to become. That's it. Secondly, and the second thing we're going to do for you is consistency. Because what we don't want is having you come in, lose all this weight quickly, in a healthy way, and then you fast forward 6 months and you're in a position where you're starting all over again and you've lost it, because consistency is huge. So part of our process is to make sure that you're consistently showing up as this woman who is at a healthy, amazing, comfortable, fun, great weight, and doing that consistently over the next several years for the rest of your life, where it's not just a one-time thing. You see how I'm not talking about what the company does? I'm talking about who she will be and what she will have. 0 on the company. A little bit, what we want to do, but it's not our processes and like, here's the blueprint, here's our structure, here's the first exercise. None of that. So benefits. Here's who you'll be, here's who you become. And then it's like, does that make sense? Do you get what our vision is for you? And are you aligned with it? Yes, I totally am. So at this point, the prospect should already be saying yes. In their head, they should be like, yeah, this is exactly what I need, exactly what I was looking for. Yes. Then mechanisms backs the benefit. So mechanisms meaning, okay, and the way we're going to make this happen for you is by using this strategy, that strategy, and this other strategy. That's mechanisms. And then deliverables is how many sessions you're getting. And the way we do it is you're going to be working with a coach one-on-one this many times per week. You're going to be inside of our community. We also have a bonus, which is this. Those are all the deliverables, what you're getting with the company. Sometimes mechanisms and deliverables can be almost the same. When I'm working with business owners and building out offers for them, and we're building shit together, I oftentimes will blend mechanisms and deliverables. Sometimes closers need this as well. But that's the game. Okay, that's how you fucking do it. Now, after you pitch, you go for commitment. So what you say is, okay, that's everything we do. That's how it all works. We're ready to get you started. We're ready to set you up with success. How do you feel? And then from there, you gauge their own commitment. If the prospect is hesitant, if they're like, I'm not sure, I need to think about it, I need to take some time, well, then we go to objection handling. Otherwise, if they're good to go, you take payment, you onboard them, and you follow up, stay in touch, maybe upsell them to another program if it's a good fit for them, if they can use it. If they came in on a payment structure, watch that, maybe get the rest of the payment paid in full before the end of the month, however you need to do it. But that's the other half. Now, if everything has not gone smoothly, as in if there are some bumps in the road, which is objection. So you go for commitment. They're like, hey, I want to think about it. I want to take some time, etc. I'm going to train you on objections. So this is a entirely new training. Here we go. So with objections, it's very interesting. And I'm going to give you the full objection handling framework that I use to close $1.2 million in under a year. And how I help the guys I train hit 10K plus months consistently. So you have to understand the first thing is that there's only 2 real objections. Okay. A lot of sales pros here I need to talk to my wife, or I need to talk to someone, or I need to take some time. Can you send me an email? That's a lot of money. None of those are objections. They're all what we call masks. Everything else is a mask. The only 2 objections are fear, which is fear, I don't think I can do this, or fear of may not trust you guys, or fear of something happened in the past and I'm worried that's going to happen again, or finances. There is some financial block or limitation that I have, and I'm not sure if I can actually make this work with the finances that I have. Otherwise, everything else is just a mask. And a mask means it's not a real objection, but it's a surface layer that the prospect presents in order to cover over and hide the real objection. And your job as a sales pro is to get them to open up about what the real objection is, because you cannot handle these objections. Even if someone says, I have to talk to my partner, by the way, you still can't handle that objection because it's not an objection. You need to figure out why they want to talk to their partner and what is coming up. Is it that they're afraid that they may not get results and they're using their partner as a cover? Is it that there's financial difficulties and they're financially limited? And again, they're using their partner as a cover or a middle ground, someone to keep them away from just making a decision here. What is it? So there's only two real objections, fear and finances. Here's what they are. Here's what the masks are. I need to think about it. I got to talk to my husband. Send me an email. I want to digest this a bit. Or when my schedule clears up, all of those are what we call masks. They're not the real objection. So your job, again, like I said, as a sales pro, is to find the real objection, which is going to be fear of finances. And I'm going to give you the entire process. Here's the scripting that we use. Really quick, what matters, by the way, is delivery, not scripting. So you can have the scripting all down pat, like all day. But if you don't have the delivery and you don't understand the full protocol and full process for how to actually execute this, you will not make money. But you can start using this. I'm going to give you the full script we use. So the first thing you need to do when you get an objection, let's play around with the I want to digest this a bit. Let's go with that. Let's say that's someone on a fitness software trying to lose weight and they're like, I want to digest this. Let's go back to ecomm. Let's say that someone's, you're selling an ecomm offer, ecomm coaching, help them build their ecomm store to 10K per month. Okay. And the first thing you say is like, okay, this sounds really good. I love it. You've already gone for commitment here. They said, yeah, this is really good. But I want to just take some time to digest everything and look over things. Yeah, not a problem. The first thing you do is diffuse, always. You have to start here, diffusing. Not a problem. No issue. It's all good. You can definitely do that. You don't need to say all these things, but one of those. So if someone tells me I need to digest things, yeah, no stress at all. No problem. Then we go to buy-in. So buy-in is the prospect bought into what you guys do as a company? That is buy-in. Okay, buy-in means, does the prospect actually like this? Because I'm going to explain something to you. Objections don't mean that the prospect doesn't want to do the program. They don't mean the prospect doesn't want to invest. That's not what an objection means. What it means is that there is some kind of barrier preventing them from easily saying yes and just moving forward. It's never easy, but from just clearly and simply moving forward. That's what an objection actually is. So a lot of sales pros will think objections is me convincing someone to want to do something they don't want to do. That is not what objection handling is. I cannot handle objections on a prospect who doesn't want to do my program. A prospect who is like, I don't want to do this. When I was closing dating, when I was closing BizOp, like appointment setting offer, I was closing, like whatever the offer is, of closing AI agency, like the prospects, you're not handling objections if the prospect doesn't want to do the thing. Does that make sense? Like if they're like, okay, but I don't want to do this and I don't like it, you can't handle their objections because that's not an objection. That's they don't want to do the thing. What I can work with though is someone who wants to do this, but there is a barrier preventing them from just starting it. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is buy in, because I want to get the prospect on my side. I don't want it to be me versus the prospect. We need to be in agreement that this is the thing that is for them and can help them. So the first question I'll ask is, so can I ask then, based on what we went over here, the process, like the accountability, the structures in terms of how we set up your store, the frameworks we use, do you feel like this can put you in a position to start to see 10K months coming in for your e-com business? Or like, how do you feel? That's number one, buy-in. This answer needs to be positive. It has to be a positive answer. They have to give me a yes, it can. There's no other answer that they can give me that I need, that I can accept. Because if they give me a negative, I can't handle objections on negative. If they're like, I'm not sure, then I'm going to redirect and I'm going to be like, well, you can't know the future. And I want to talk about that in a second. But when you say you're not sure, is there any reason you feel like it can't help you? And then you go negative. That's a whole other part of the training. So we're not going to go there today. But if they go negative, you need to go negative too to get the answer back to positive. But for the sake of this example, let's say that most people will say, no, I feel like it can. It's really good. Okay, it's not enough. We need to go double buy-in. Why do you feel like it can? Double buy-in is where you get them to explain why they feel like this can help, so we can solidify and confirm the prospect is on the same side as me. We're on the same team. I actually want to move forward with you in this situation. Ideally, there's just some things coming up that are preventing me from doing it right now. Okay, after they explain why it can, they give a good answer, like very good, awesome. So can I ask, now we get clarification. We need to figure out what is going on with what they said. So if they said, think about it, if they said, talk to my husband, send me an email, we need to figure out what is actually going on so we can then handle the objection. Because the objection is going to be whatever is behind one of these masks. Again, these masks are not the objection. So I will say, can I ask then, I guess when you go and digest things, because the prospect said digest. So I'm going to say when you go and digest, what's coming up for you there in terms of digesting, in terms of thought process, just to see if I can help at all. That's it. And they will then give you the answer. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes they'll double down and say, this is the way I do things. And then for that, we have analogies. In fact, I'm going to show you what we have here. I'm going to nerd out for a second. I just filmed an ad and I had to print out all these papers. But we literally have, I don't know if you can see this because I can't see myself, but I think you can. We have all these cheat sheets and frameworks and analogies that we have. And I give this stuff away, kind of. This exact framework, this is in our paid program only, but we have, imagine 25% of this. And dude, there's a lot of freaking stuff here. Like, I'm not kidding. I just don't have a good angle to show you, but there's like a lot of fucking crazy stuff. How many pages is this? This is like 12 pages filled up with just objections, how to handle all of them. It's insane. And it's in our paid program, but I'm not selling you anything here, so you can come get a bunch of it for free, like all of our frameworks and stuff. I actually can show you really quick. And I think I have this later in the presentation too. Look at this here inside of our school group in the classroom in objection handling. Like, I give you every single thing to handle. Like, this is for fear, how to handle fear objections. Like, it's everything. Okay, so come into the community. It's a free group called Quantum Level, and I literally train people. We have 445 pending requests, and they're not getting it because if you haven't gotten in, it's because you're not a good fit. So sorry. But yeah, we have a pretty poppin' group. So come into that and you can learn from us. Anyhow, continuing what I was saying. So you want to get clarification. Can I ask, when you go and think things over, what's coming up for you? And they're going to give you the answer. And then what you need to do, this is why I showed you this sheet called analogies, reframes, and logic lines. Because what's going to happen is you need to use an analogy in order to close the door on it. Because remember, the logic has to make sense. So let's say that the person says, just in the past, I was burned before. Like, I did a program like this before, and I didn't get results. It was pretty bad. What we're going to need to do is use an analogy and something I call also a new line of logic to shut the door on the objection they have, and then we're going to need to move them forward with emotions. So if someone's stuck in the past and there's a problem they have because they did something like this before, there's a process we have for it. It's not just random. I could show you on this sheet. I'm not going to go through it now, but I'll give you an example of it here. If they're like, yeah, I did this before, then I'll go, okay, I mean, it sucks that you did that and it didn't work out. I'm really sorry about that. Can I ask, was like the program you did, was it a scam? Like, no one got results, or did some people actually make changes? They could either go, it was a scam and it sucked. There we go. We're not a scam. Awesome. Do you feel like we're a scam? No, I don't. Okay, well, let's handle that. Let's move forward. Or they'll say it wasn't a scam and people did get results. Okay, why were you so different that you didn't get results? We'll give the reason. I wasn't in the right headspace. I wasn't here. I wasn't there. I wasn't ready. Well, are you ready now? Because that's the key. Like, are you actually ready now to make changes? I can't imagine you'd even be on the call if you weren't ready to make changes. So yes, I am. And then I'm not done. I'm going to use an analogy. Something I want you to think about is like relationships. It actually applies here. It's a very interesting idea. Have you ever been in a relationship before that didn't work out? Yes, I had a girl. Okay, yeah, and it didn't work out, and I'm sure that fell apart. Did that stop you from getting back out there ever again and connecting with a new partner? No, it didn't. Like, I have an amazing relationship now. Okay, very good. The same thing applies here. You're in a situation where you can actively take control of your future and choose to take control of what happens next. Or you can allow your past, same thing in a relationship, same way, to control what happens next. The version of you that makes the 10K per month, that man doesn't allow his past to control what he does next. And that's a simple commitment to having a better future. And that's a commitment you can make here now, brother. The question I have for you, and now I will go to something called an emotional commitment question. I will drive it forward with emotional crossroads. The question I have for you is, do you feel like you are willing and wanting to put in the work? Because it's going to take work. You're going to put in the work to be that man who is bringing 10K for himself and his future. Yes or no? He says, yes. Okay. And do you feel like you deserve also to have that future in your life? Yes or no? He says, yes. Why do you deserve that? He backs down why he deserves it. And there we go. We have commitment. Maybe we'll have to go another round. Maybe he'll say, yeah, but I just need to think about it. Cool. You can take the time. But what else is coming up for you? Like, what else would be left? And we just go again, following this whole thing. Clarification and logic island, emotional commitment. That's the same thing. That's how you handle objections, guys. Like, that's it. That's the sauce. That's how it works. All right. The path to freedom ahead, because you can make a bunch of money in this space. You can. I'm happy if you made it to the end. I'm happy you've been here with me this whole time. Like, this is really good training, and I'm happy you're here. But here's what the path of freedom looks like. I've walked this path, so I'm telling you exactly what it looks like and exactly where you can be. Number one is learn your skill set. Dial this in, dude. I'm telling you, man, I almost get emotional thinking of this, as today is that anniversary for me of having $100 in my biz account, man. If you can learn sales and you get good, and not everyone can get good. That's the truth. That's why our program is not selling you a pipe dream, like saying, make money online with this new skill set. That's not how we sell our program. We're like, if you're in sales and you want to get better, here's how you do it. But if you can get good at sales, you're going to change your life, because there's so much opportunity out there. There's people who want to make money, people who need to make money, people who are going to make money. You working in sales puts you directly in the flow of cash flow. Like, you're inserting yourself in the middle of cash. Literally, like, there's a flow of cash going from from consumers to business owners, and you're inserting yourself directly in the middle by saying, hey, I'm going to bring in the cash for you, so you don't have to do it, and you don't have to have those calls, those conversations. Sales will change your life. Then after you master the skill set, the first level of skill set, get good at sales. And then the other one is opportunity. Get on the best offers. And there's multiple platforms that you can use to find offers, be in the right communities. One of the best ones that I would say for finding communities, and I'll put it up on the screen here, if you want to find great offers, would be dealfuel.ai. I don't know if it'll load if I do this. Is it going to load? No. I want to show you guys this site because it's pretty fucking sick. And I've had a bunch of great people that I know who have found amazing offers through this website, DealFuel, this community that I'm actually a part of and that I'm very involved in, and that has helped a lot of my people actually gain offers. There we go. Pull it up here. It's like $2.99, which is insane. DealFuel is incredible, and it's an amazing offer finding platform from my boy Devontae. I'm not going to try to say his last name. Masson, I think is the name. But you can see in DealFuel, like, this is how you can find offers. This is one way. The other one is to get on in a program, in a coaching program, like, one of the ones we have, or a community, even like ours here, get into a space like this where you can find the best offers. So that's the next one. It would be opportunity. And then the last one would be leverage, which is after you gain the best opportunities, then you start consulting, you start building. That's what I've done. Like, that's my journey. I went from this stage, sales, skill set mastery, that was all of last year, to then being on a good offer and stacking multiple offers at once, making cash, and then leverage, which is now instead of consulting, mostly it was coaching. And I coach a bunch of great people, help them make really good money. They invest in my work, and I work with business owners on helping them make more money with sales. That's the game I play, right? And I want you to play the same game. So that's what I got for you. Hopefully this had value. Come inside of our community. That's hilarious. I actually made this yesterday and screenshotted this. We had 872 members, and now we have whatever the number was, 890. Damn, we're growing fast. Yeah, come on in. Like, come to this group. Come join us. Come put in the work. We're going to be happy to see you there. School.com/quantum level. Dude, you come in here and just get all the free shit. It's free. I don't even have a pitch for it because it's free stuff. Come in here. We'll set you up with success, help you make a bunch of money. And then if you feel like there's more value to be had, come work with me personally, and I will help you make money myself directly. We have trainings in this group, by the way, once a week, free training, free live training where you can role play with me, practice your sales skill set. I'm sharing tons of value in this community. That's it. That's everything I got. This is the year you make money. This is the year that you take over your life and give yourself freedom. Okay. I really want that for you. That's why I make these videos. I don't make them for my health. I don't make them for fun. This reality that I've had, that I've been so privileged and blessed to experience, man, like this reality of closed tons of deals, closed millions in sales, and give myself a life of freedom, a life of just freaking freedom. That's the best I could say. Time freedom, money freedom, location freedom. I have all three. That's the thing I want for you. Okay, take care, be blessed, and I'll see you on the next training.